जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम श्रीपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमद् His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai। ISKCON Samstapaka Acharya savor the whole world, Devat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai। Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai। Nitai Gaur Premanand। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya। Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 23. Chapter 23 is entitled Devahuti's Lamentation. Text number 11. Tatreti कृत्यम् उपशिक्ष्य यथा उपदेशं तत्रेति कृत्यम् उपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् तत्रेति कृत्यमुपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् येन एषः मे कर्षितः अतिरिरं सया आत्मा येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव दर्शिताया सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया दीनः तत् ईश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व तत्रेति कृत्यमुपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व तत्रेति कृत्यमुपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व तत्रेति कृत्यमुपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व तत्रेति कृत्यमुपशिक्ष्य यथोपदेशम् येनैष मे कर्षितोतिरिरं सयात्मा सिद्ध्येत ते कृतमनो भव धर्षिताया दीनस्तदीश भवनं सदृशं विचक्ष्व तत्र in that iti krityam what is necessary to be done upashiksha perform yatha according to upadesham instruction in scripture yena by which Eshaha, this, me, my, karshitaha, emaciated, atiriramsaya, due to intense passion, not being satisfied, atma, body, siddhyeta, it may be rendered fit, te, for you, krita, excited, mana, bhava, by emotion, dharshitayaha, who am struck, dinaha, poor, tat, therefore, isha, O my dear Lord, bhavanam, house, sadrusham, suitable, vichakshva, please think of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Devahuti continued, my dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures, so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. Also, my Lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose. Please repeat this translation after me. Devahuti continued, my dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures, so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. Also, my Lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Vedic literatures are not only full of spiritual instruction, but are also instructive in how to prosecute material existence very nicely with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. Devahuti asked her husband, therefore, how to prepare herself for sex life according to the Vedic instructions. Sex life is especially meant for having good children. The circumstances for creating good children are mentioned in Kama Shastra, the scripture in which suitable arrangements are prescribed for factually glorious sex life. Everything needed is mentioned in the scriptures. What sort of house and decorations there should be, what sort of dress the wife should have, how she should be decorated with ointments, scents, and other attractive features, etc. With these requisites fulfilled, the husband will be attracted by her beauty, and a favorable mental situation will be created. The mental situation at the time of sex life may then be transferred into the womb of the wife, and good children can come out of that pregnancy. Here is a special reference to Devahuti's bodily features. Because she had become skinny, she feared that her body might have no attraction for Kardama. She wanted to be instructed how to improve her bodily condition in order to attract her husband. Sexual intercourse in which the husband is attracted to the wife is sure to produce a male child. But sexual intercourse based on attraction of the wife for the husband may produce a girl. That is mentioned in the Ayurveda. When the passion of the man is greater, then there is the possibility of a son. Devahuti wanted the passion of her husband to be increased by the arrangement mentioned in the Kama Shastra. She wanted him to instruct her in that way, and she also requested that he arrange for a suitable house, because the hermitage in which Kardama Muni was living was very simple and completely in the mode of goodness, and there was less possibility of passions being aroused in his heart. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is very, very instructive, a verse in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Srimad-Bhagavatam is an exclusive transcendental literature, and it has been described in the Bhagavatam itself and by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is Amala Purana. That means it is that supplementary Vedic literature which is completely pure. Pure means there is no mixture of karma and jnana. It is pure bhakti literature. All the Puranas are bhakti literature, but except for Bhagavatam, the other Puranas are having some discussion about Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda also, along with Bhakti. So Bhakti is there in all Vedic literature. Why? Because Sripad Madhvacharya says, Hari Sarvatra Giyate Vede Ramayane Chaiva. There is a verse like this. All the Vedic literature basically glorify the Supreme Lord Hari. Basically describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari. But when it comes to the glorification of the Supreme Lord exclusively, then this one literature, the Srimad-Bhagavatam, is meant for exclusive glorification of the Supreme Lord, which is pure bhakti, pure devotion. So, somebody may wonder how in this particular literature there is some description about sex life. So many people misunderstand because they don't receive this knowledge or don't study under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. When Vedic literature is not received through the proper channel, there is every possibility of misunderstanding the message of the Vedas, the teachings of the Vedas. So, here Prabhupada has perfectly explained what is the content of the Vedic literatures? The Vedic literatures are not only full of spiritual instruction, but are also instructive in how to prosecute material existence very nicely with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. So the aim is very clear of the Vedic literatures, giving different instructions. The ultimate aim is spiritual perfection only. But with this aim, one should not only be conversant with the spiritual instructions in the Vedic literatures, but also instructions on how to prosecute material existence. So, the ideal system of religious principles is described in the scriptures as Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma describes different material and spiritual duties for a civilized human being to ultimately achieve spiritual perfection. And in a verse in the Vishnu Purana, it is clearly stated, Varnashrama Dharma is not just about some material life to be prosecuted according to some specific instructions in the scriptures, but realization of Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is the goal of Varnashrama. Varnashrama charavata purushena parapuman Vishnur aradhyate pantha nanyat tattosha karanam. So, ultimate goal of following the principles described in the Varnashrama Dharma is to come to the point of Vishnu worship. And that Vishnu worship is meant for pleasing Vishnu, and that is the perfection of, that's the spiritual perfection, especially of the human form of life. So, if there are spiritual instructions for this Vishnu worship and how to please Vishnu, there are also instructions on how to prosecute material existence very nicely, with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. So then, what is the purpose of sex life? Grahastha ashrama. Grahastha ashrama. Ashrama means spiritual shelter. So, whether one is a brahmachari or a grahastha or a vanaprastha or a sannyasi, all of them are meant to have spiritual shelter in order to make gradual spiritual advancement through these four progressive stages of practicing spiritual life. So, in Grahastha Ashrama, what is the role of sex life? So, Srila Prabhupada explains, sex life is especially meant for having good children. And how to have good children through proper sex life, that is also described in the Vedic literatures. So here, Devahuti's request to her husband, Kardama Muni, to make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures is so that they may have they may have good children. and to have good children, she is requesting her husband to make proper arrangements according to Shastra. Even Lord Krishna mentions this in the Bhagavad-gita briefly. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha. So what is Prabhupada's translation? Where is your Bhagavad-gita copy? Okay, open your mobile. Open this verse. 7.11. The verse number 7.11. Shravana Mangala, read the translation. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. So sex life according to religious principles is representation of Krishna himself. Which means that sex life according to religious principles is completely spiritual. There is nothing material about it. So then what is material? Sex life which is not according to religious principles. So religious principles are given so that every activity a human being performs is simply meant for making spiritual progress with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. So even through sex life, it is possible to progress spiritually and ultimately attain spiritual perfection. So how is that done? So Krishna just gives a overall instruction in the Gita, sex life according to religious principles. So according to religious principles, sex life is meant for producing good children. What is the standard described in the scriptures of having good children? That is described by Lord Rishabhadeva in the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam while instructing his 100 sons. And through his sons, all of us, he is instructing that don't become a father or a mother if you can't liberate your children. So human life is a life of responsibility. One should lead a life according to religious principles with the ultimate aim of self-realization. And not only one prosecutes religious principles for one's own self-realization, but also to guide the dependents and help them to progress spiritually for ultimate self-realization. So according to the system of Varnashrama Dharma, different positions of people in human society, there are different duties and responsibilities. So in Grihastha-ashrama, there is a responsibility of the husband towards the wife, of the parents towards the children, like that. So the purpose of sex life is to have good children who can be trained up suitably for ultimate self-realization. And such training or preparation for ultimate self-realization begins even before the parents conceive a child. What is that preparation? So, the husband and the wife have to prepare the mental situation so that the husband can transfer into the womb of the wife the proper mental situation so that good children can come out. Such good children who are born of proper sex life, they are inclined to accept spiritual instructions. And just like Prahlad Maharaj, even when he was within the womb of his mother, when Narad Muni was instructing his mother, Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, when she was pregnant, so Indra, thinking that in the womb of this Hiranyakashipu's wife is the seed of that great demon. So the child which will be born will be another big demon. So Indra thought, let me kill this child as soon as it is born, because it is another big demon if it is allowed to grow. So he, when Hiranyakashipu had gone away for performing some tapasya, his wife was pregnant, and Indra came with the devatas and wanted to kidnap Hiranyakashipu's wife. So while she was being forcibly taken away by the devatas headed by Indra, then Narad Muni happened to intercept them. Then Narad Muni asked Indra, what are you doing? He said, no, I am not harming her. I am just going to keep her in my custody till she gives birth to the child. And this child is the result of Hiranyakashipu conceiving this child, the big demon who's terrorizing the whole universe. Of course, by that time he had not started terrorizing, but anyway, as a demon, he was always against saintly persons, known to be a demon. So, I don't want to allow this child to survive. As soon as it is born, I will release her, and the child I am going to kill, so that will be a service to the saintly persons. So then Narad Muni explained that you are mistaken. The child within the womb of this lady is not a demon. Actually, it is a great devotee. So then, immediately, Indra, he begged forgiveness from Narad Muni for his mistake. And after he released her, all the devatas headed by Indra circumambulated the wife of Hiranyakashipu in order to show respect for the devotee within the womb of Hiranyakashipu's wife. So, as is explained in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, Narad Muni took this Hiranyakashipu's wife and gave her protection in his ashram. His intention was actually to instruct the child within the womb. Of course, somebody may ask this question that Hiranyakashipu was a big demon. How could he conceive a child who was spiritually inclined and was instructed by Narad Muni, suitable to be instructed by Narad Muni? This is the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate controller of everyone and everything. Generally, those in material existence, they come under the laws of karma, and according to the laws of karma, their behavior, their actions are according to their acquired nature under the influence of the three gunas. But in exceptional cases, Krishna actually intervenes, and the action that somebody may perform may not be exactly according to their own mental situation or according to the acquired nature, conditioned nature, but will be according to the plan of the Supreme Lord. So in this case, it was the Lord's will that a nice devotee appear in this family of demons simply for the sake of carrying out the mission of the Lord in the material world. So, sometimes Prabhupada says, even in the family of demons, there is a great devotee who is appearing. Just like the son of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, or the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj. So, these are exceptions. And sometimes in the family of saintly people, a demon is born. A demon is born. Just like Vritrasura appeared as the son of one Brahmana, Twashta. Or Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha appeared as the son of Kashyapa and Diti. So, this is the higher plan of the Supreme Lord. When devotees appear in the family of demons, that is the plan of the Supreme Lord in order to deliver the people of this world and carry out his mission of ultimately delivering, making arrangements for deliverance of the conditioned souls. So, when Narad Muni was protecting and keeping her safe, Hiranyakashipu's wife, so he was instructing Prahlad within the womb of his mother. So, therefore, Prabhupada says, such preparation for spiritual, achieving spiritual perfection begins even before the parents conceive the child. What is that preparation? They have to prepare their consciousness suitably to combine for conceiving a child. They had to spiritualize their consciousness completely so that a devotee will take birth. Otherwise, if parents combine with the mentality of sense gratification, then the child which is born will be having lusty propensities, lusty desires for enjoyment. So, according to the consciousness with which the parents combine to conceive a child, exactly that type of child will take birth. So, it's not accidental what kind of child is born to which kind of parents. It's not at all accidental. It is a complete science. And formerly, there was education in how to produce good children by preparing the consciousness before conceiving a child. Now, this is unknown. And the demoniac theory is described in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita. What is that? Asatyam apratishtam te jagad ahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama haitukam. So this third and fourth lines, the demons, their theory or philosophy is that this world is unreal. Asatyam, apratishtam, there is no foundation. Jagadahur anishwaram, and there is no God in control. It is produce of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So according to the demons or demoniac theory, that sex life means simply due to lust, and they think that children are born simply due to lust resulting in sexual intercourse. But these demons do not know that there is another way of engaging in sex life to produce saintly character, children with saintly character, by preparing the consciousness. By preparing the consciousness. So, this preparation of consciousness, according to the scriptures, there are so many rituals. Garbhadana samskara, this is called Garbhadana samskara. But in Kali Yuga, we can't exactly follow the Dharma Shastra regulations or rules for this Garbhadana samskara. So it has been simplified by our acharyas. And as far as ISKCON devotees are concerned, devotees following Prabhupada's movement, Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada has instructed the husband and wife should chant 50 rounds before combining to conceive a child, and pray to Krishna that may we have a devotee child. This is Garbhadana samskara, very practical and very much simplified. More than the rituals, it is the consciousness. It is the consciousness. So, this is given importance in this human form of life, because the ultimate goal, athato brahma jignasa, that one has to inquire how to actually achieve spiritual perfection in this human form of life, by spiritual inquiry. So spiritual inquiry should be there even for grahasthas engaging in sex life. So the general instruction in the Bhagavad-gita is to spiritualize all activities by doing every work as yajna. So how can producing children be done as yajna? That is preparing the consciousness by spiritualizing it before the parents combine for conceiving a child. So it is very clear, but this type of understanding can only be had from the bona fide spiritual master. Otherwise, people misunderstand, or they have a wrong understanding, or they are misled by demons, propaganda, demoniac propaganda. Like it is said here in the 16th chapter, the demons propagate this. Accidentally, there is some child which is born out of sex life, because the demons, their only aim of doing any activity is sense gratification. So they think even sex life is simply meant for sense gratification. But a higher purpose of all activities is performing any activity as yajna with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. So even sex life can be utilized or should be utilized for spiritual perfection by producing good children through the recommended scriptural instructions. And therefore here Devahuti is requesting her husband that make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures, so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. So the details briefly Prabhupada is mentioning here. According to the Ayurveda, science of Ayurveda, sexual intercourse in which the husband is attracted to the wife is sure to produce a male child, but sexual intercourse based on attraction of the wife for the husband may produce a girl. And if there is no attraction between the husband and wife to combine, then there is no possibility of conceiving a child. So therefore, all these instructions are given in the Shastra. That is what is called as Kama Shastra, the scripture. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I had heard about this Kama Shastra. But I always used to wonder, how can there be scripture regarding enjoying sex life? Because our only understanding of sex was enjoy sex life. Sense gratification. That's the only understanding at least I had. And most people, I think, they have only that understanding. Because the material existence itself is only due to the material desire. Desire for material enjoyment. So this material enjoyment culminates in sex life for the purpose of sense enjoyment or material enjoyment. So I always used to wonder, is it really a scripture? Is it a bona fide scripture which describes sex life, how to have sex life? So not until I came across this particular explanation by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam. So it is very clear, all the scriptures are directing civilized human beings how to perform different activities, how to carry out different responsibilities with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. So everything is given with this aim only, and that is best summarized in that verse of the Vishnu Purana, Varnashramacharvata Purushena Parapuman Vishnuraradhyate Pantha Nanyat Tattosha Karanam. So even sex life in Grihastha is meant for producing good children with the aim of the parents being able to guide the children to progress spiritually even before the child is born. In the womb of the mother, just like in traditional families, they say when the mother is pregnant, then she should hear Bhagavatam, following the footsteps of Narad Muni instructing Prahlad within the womb of his mother. And they say they should engage in as many pious activities as possible, so the child will get good samskara, good impressions in the womb of the mother itself. It is because ultimately life means consciousness, and this consciousness is very much impressionable in even the early stage of the development of the child in the mother's womb. The consciousness is impressionable. One last point. The social scientists in America, they study why certain children born of parents are very, very criminal minded. And they have established through some surveys that a mother, she is pregnant, then she watches TV. And on the television, if there are so many programs in which this crime scenes are very, very predominant. So the mother is watching some hero shooting, killing some villain, and all kinds of sense enjoyment scenes. Then the child gets that impression in the womb of the mother. And the child which is born has got so much of criminal tendency, because such criminal mentality was impressed on the child by the mother watching all such programs on TV. So they have established that the mother who is pregnant wants to have a child without this criminal tendency should not watch such programs on TV when the mother is pregnant. They have established this. But there is no need to do any such research to figure out all this. It's already given in the scriptures very clearly that the child can be prepared by the parents by following the directions of the Shastra. So I'll stop here. Dhantarat Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.